Is Cajuns baseball infielder Lee Amedee about to come back for a fifth season? We'll discuss it here on Ragin Rundown. What's good, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into another episode of Ragin Rundown. All Cajuns, all the time. I'm your guy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick, but you can always call me Fitz. And in today's episode, we will be talking about the possibility of one of the more beloved players in the Louisiana baseball program potentially coming back. Lee Amedee announcing on social media, "I'm back, hashtag 113." Now, this is something that has been speculated a lot because of the court rulings that have happened, and we're going to break all of this down to the best of my abilities that I have, and we're going to talk all about it. So, candidly, in my day job at KTC, right, I saw that high school football was going on with scrimmages, and so I was prepared to go out and cover games tonight, which I still did end up going to some games. But I get on social and I see that Lee Amedee has posted that he is coming back after all of these rulings that's happened in the courts. And so as a journalist, I go and I start compiling the story. I put it together online at ketc.com. You can go read more about that. And so I say, well, let's see if we can add to the story, because it's not just, hey, let's just break the story in digital. What can we do for on-air purposes? So I said, I wonder if I can reach out to Lee and see if would he be interested in doing a quick interview. And so I reached out to him. And sure enough, he said, yeah, I'm in town. I said, can you meet me at the Teague? We meet up. And next thing we know, we have about a 5 or 10 minute conversation. And I have about 3 sound bites that I'll play from that conversation that we had for you here on the show. The way all of this came to be about, and like I said, you can read more about this at ketc.com in the article that I posted. Initially, I believe it was back in July, U.S. District Judge Charlotte Sweeney in Denver ruled that all class of 2022 high school athletes who used their 4th season of eligibility this spring would be able to play for its 5th season in 2026-2027. Now, as you remember, the NCAA came out with the 5-and-5 eligibility model, which is no more red shirts, none of this stuff like that. You enroll in the school, you have 5 seasons. You have 5 seasons. Initially, what they were saying was this would start in the 26-27 athletic calendar. This judge comes in after players filed suit and said, no, if these players have only used 4 years or used all 4 years of their eligibility and is deciding to want to be able to utilize that 5th year that they should be entitled to, they would be able to do that. And that's what that ruling kind of started. In the ESPN article, or the Associated Press article on ESPN.com, it said it has the potential to wreak havoc on rosters across the country. For instance, opening the possibility that an undrafted player in an NFL training camp could try to head back to college for a 5th year. And that's how we get to this point where we are now. So if you are just a Louisiana sports fan, then you know that former edge rusher Jack Pyburn also filed a suit along with several other players saying that they should be able to be eligible for that 5th season, despite the fact that they are currently competing for roster spots on NFL teams. Jack Pyburn is on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and overall, this entire thing is wild and crazy. And I'm going to get back to Lee Amedee in all of this in just a second. But once that suit was filed, a judge out of Baton Rouge, how ironic, Will Jordan, not only granted the players a 5th season, but also allowed them to enter a newly created week-long transfer portal to find a new home. That's why you've seen some players across the country enter the transfer portal as of today, Thursday, August the 20th. Now, with all that in mind, the question is, how does this pertain back to Lee Amedee? So initially in July, after the season was over, Lee Amedee was not drafted in the MLB draft. He was not signed to an undrafted free agent deal. However, he did sign with the New York Boulders in the Frontier League. He played through that. But after I had my conversation with him, he told me that they did release him and he did pay back the funds that he needed to. And that goes into the temporary restraining order that Judge William Jordan placed out. He said in that the only way this would work is so if the players decided to come back to college, they would have to terminate their contract that they had with professional teams and return the money that they had received. Lee Amedee has done that. So that allows him to be eligible in this instance. And so with all that in mind, this is not finalized. I'll say that again. This is not finalized, but the ball is rolling. And with the way things have been going with the NCAA and how they haven't truly been enforcing some of the rules that they have, I feel like this is going to be something where Lee will get an opportunity to go and play one more time in the vermilion and white. So currently he is eligible to practice. So he can be with the team. He can work out with the team, which he said he's already been doing that. He's going to come back and be available to work out on Monday when classes start officially on Monday. But he cannot play in the fall ball games, not until all of this is resolved, because the NCAA is still trying to appeal the initial ruling from the judge in Denver. So when I talked with Lee, I, sat down, stood up there outside of Russo Park with him for some time. And, the first initial question that I asked him was, you dropped a bomb on us out of nowhere with this one, but just how good did it feel to know that you have the potential to come back in the vermilion and white for one more season?
I mean, I'm really excited. I mean, another place I'd rather be. I mean, got a chance to come back to this place. Like, this place means everything to me. So it's like, man, like, why not? Like, why not play another year here in front of these people, this team? Like, just, I mean, I'm honored to play another year.
An honor to play another year. That's something that you absolutely love to hear from any player that you have in your program. But like I said, Lee is a phenomenal player, and we're going to get to how important he's going to be and what it could mean for UL with having him back in just a moment. The second thing that I talked to him about was just kind of the timeliness of everything that has happened. I mean, he goes to the Frontier League and he has the opportunity to work his way through there and play professional baseball and see what could come from that. But then out of nowhere, things that are not having anything to do with him ultimately results in him having the opportunity to come back and be in Cajun country for one more season. So I asked him, like, how ironic is a lot of this that's happening for him to be able to be a part of something that he's been a part of for 4 years, in a situation that truly has nothing to do with him initially, but now it has everything to do about him. And here's his answer.
Yeah, I mean, all the stuff is looking pretty good. Like, a lot of people are winning cases and whatnot. So, I mean, it's looking good for another year. But there's really no guarantee, because there's still a small chance that they could, like, just say that we're not good. But I mean, as of now, like, I'll be here Monday. Like, I'll be practicing and stuff like normal. And yeah, like, as far as you said, like, draft stock, whatever, and championships, like, I'm coming. Like, there's no other, like, plan other than Omaha. Like, I'm coming back to try to do something special. Like, it's been my childhood dream. Like, go to Omaha, play in Omaha. Got another chance to do it. So it's like, I mean, I'm gonna take it. You know.
Why would you not? I mean, if they are going to allow the rules to be bent, why would you not? Am I overall okay with this as a whole for college athletics? No, not really, to be honest with you. Because at some point, to Michael Desormeaux's point that he had earlier in the week, if you're going to put rules into place, you have to enforce them. Now, when it goes into the favor of the Cajuns and it makes an interesting storyline, I'm interested in seeing how this all plays out. I'm happy that Lee gets an opportunity to play again. I'm even more excited because of the, momentum that the Cajuns have built over this offseason with the funds that they've been raising, with the amount of players they've added in through the transfer portal, and all of those things like that, that truly makes Team 113, the 2027 Ragin Cajuns baseball program that's coming up next season, it makes it exciting to see what that's going to turn out to be. So with Lee Amedee being back on the roster, what does this look like for the Cajuns? I'm going to step aside for just a second, but when we come back, we're going to talk about what Lee Amedee potentially being back at Louisiana could mean for this roster. We'll discuss it when we return here on Ragin' Rundown. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Ragin Rundown. We're going to get back into the action in just a second. But before we do, if you're tuning into this episode on YouTube, thank you so much. Please do me a favor. Please like this video, share it, and leave a comment down below. But most importantly, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you're listening, please follow the podcast feed, rate the show, and leave us a review because that's going to help us get in front of more Ragin Cajun fans just like yourself. So Lee Amedee is exercising his opportunity to get his 5th year of eligibility back because of everything that's going on in the court rulings. But what does having a player back like Lee Amedee do for the Ragin Cajuns? Last season, Lee started in 65 of the 66 games that you played. He played in all of them, but he started in 65 of them. He had a 300 batting average, 47 runs, 12 doubles, 4 triples, 7 home runs, and a team high 54 RBI. And he was also named to the Sun Belt Conference All-Tournament team. Overall, he's a phenomenal hitter. He is a great leader for what you have already. And from a defensive standpoint, it solidifies your infield without question. Like, you know exactly what you have coming back. Because you think about it, last season, shortstop, you had Blaze Rodriguez. He's back. At third, you had Drew Markle. He's back. At first, you had Lee Amedee. He's back. Now all you have to focus on is replacing your second baseman, who was, God, his name is slipping my mind just that quickly, naming off these other names. I'm going to go back to it so I can make sure that I get that correct, and I don't want to slight anyone. It's just a bunch of names. Rigoberto Hernandez. Shout out to him, right? Words are hard. Anyway, you have your infield solidified. Your catcher, the one behind the dish, is solidified in Colt Brown. But you do have some pieces that you have brought in that could make things interesting and could give you options. For example, Manny Salas, the Texas State transfer, great bat. You got to figure out a way to get him in the lineup. It may be a DH, or maybe you cross-train and try to slide Lee over to third and put Drew at second, or you put Lee at second and put Manny at first. Like, that's things that you're going to have to think about. But overall, you're gaining back a player that has a ton of experience. You're getting back a guy that knows what your program is all about. He understands the culture, and he's been successful in the time that he's been here. So now what your roster is shaping out to be, your returners in the bullpen, you have Ty Roman, Garrett Carter, Parker Smith, Hayden Pearson, Sawyer Pruitt, Chase Morgan, Gerald Tillett, Landon Victorian, Bryce Wilson. Returners. Infielders, Drew Markle, Blaze Rodriguez, Josh Lim, Lee Amedee. Outfielders, Donovan LaSalle, Mark Collins, Noah Lewis, Steven Spalita, potentially could be moving to the outfield, but could also be a catcher for you. We will see once we get to fall ball. Your other catcher that's returning is Colt Brown. We know about all the transfers, but I will read them off to you once again. Trent Lape, a pitcher. Pitchers, Trent Lape, Dagan Kubat, Maddox Sullivan, Charlie Krebs, Blaine Albright, Griffin Miller, Kendall Dove, Jackson Evers, Joey Irving. Other infielders that are transfers: Eric Fernandez, Jeremy Kuiper, Micah Kendrick, Manny Salas, Tanner Hornbeck. Your outfielders: Kel Pisano is a transfer. Your other catcher that's a transfer, Jose Carmona. Your 2 freshmen, Evan Vincent is a pitcher. Miles Ledoux is an infielder. So that's what your roster is shaping up to be. One point that Lee made finally was, how his discussion was with Coach Deggs, which this news is coming out on his birthday. So happy birthday, Coach. This is a great present for you. But there have been conversations had up until this point. So this was not just a random moment. This was something that they had known about for some time. So I asked him about kind of the timeline and how it all panned out, and how excited Coach Deggs was, and if some of his teammates knew about it leading up to it.
Yeah, I called him last week or 2 weeks ago maybe, and told him I wanted to come back, and he was like, buddy, I'll take you back in a New York minute. So I mean, it was all good. Yeah, and luckily they had an open roster spot, so nobody had to get cut or anything like that, which made me feel great. Like, I didn't have to force anybody to get out of here or something like that. So it worked out really good, honestly.
It worked out. And like I said, overall for the sport, this is a tough issue, but this is the Cajuns podcast. So they had a spot available, no harm, no foul. And when in Rome, do as the Romans do. If they're going to allow the rules to be bent and you have an opportunity to better your roster, to give you a better chance to go on a run to the College World Series, host a regional, host a super regional, all of those great things that you want to do, have at it. So Lee Amedee will potentially be back. Like I said, nothing is finalized. He will practice. He will be back on campus on Monday. I did not ask him about classes or anything like that because it was kind of an in and out moment because I was also getting ready to break the news on our 5 o'clock show. So the interview was fairly quick. But I'll reach out to him and kind of see what the plan is because he's already graduated. He has a degree from the University of Louisiana Lafayette. Now it's about making sure that he is going to be eligible so he can be available to play, and then getting him flowed into with the rest of the team that you have and continuing to figure out what Team 113 is going to look like. So it's going to be exciting times in Cajun country, especially when fall ball rolls around in October. So that's going to wrap up this episode of Ragin Rundown. If you've made it to this point in the episode, guys, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you, from subscribers to listeners. I thank each and every one of you. Let's keep this thing rolling. Let's get to 500 subs on YouTube before the football season officially starts. So if you're on YouTube and you're watching this video and you're not subscribed, please like the video, share it, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. But most importantly, make sure you subscribe. If you're listening, please follow the podcast feed, rate the show, and leave us a review because it's going to help us get in front of more Ragin' Cajun fans just like yourself. I'm your guy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick. We'll see you guys next time.